Hello and welcome back. This is Vincenz, and today we are going to be doing the Xeno threat mission at the Pyro Gateway.
Leo, check in with the rest stop med station so they can revive you there if things go south.
So we've reported for duty, and now we are just going to nip into the station, and we are going to set our spawn point here, refuel our ship, ammo up, and head back out to take part in stage 1 of the Xeno threat mission.
Feeling better? What better way to celebrate?
Anthony, Oddlaw.
As we head out of the station, we are meeting up with our crew today, and we've got a few of the boys from the org who are going to take part in this mission with us. The Idris is now arriving at the gateway, and they are going to be attacking the gateway, and we are tasked with defending the Javelin. So as the Idris heads in, it releases some of its little mini fighter ships, and now it's time we take these out as quickly as possible to get the Idris to retreat back to where it belongs.
Xenothreat's charging their main gun.
Straight away I'm taking an absolute beating. I think I went a little bit too close to the Idris there. So I'm just going to blast away, full power to shields, get my shields back and re-enter the fight.
Got the support ships before hitting the Idris.
We're flying the Corsair today, which is a great gunship.
Hell of a shot.
Takes down these targets nice and easy. But some of the smaller targets like the Gladius and the Arrow, they are a bit of a nightmare to take down. They move around quick.
Xenothreat's charging their main gun. Getting ready to shoot.
A little bit laggy as well, the performance. You never really get it super smooth on this mission. There are quite a lot of ships in the air.
Not many hostiles left.
This is the Anvil Arrow we're trying to take down now, and it is rapid. It darts around all over the place, and it's pretty hard to keep track of.
Main gun is activating. It's falling back.
So we've taken down all the small targets, and the Idris retreats. Now we're jumping over to the Pyro jump point, where we've got to go and loot the ships and return as much cargo as possible to the gateway.
They're severely damaged or destroyed. See if your scans pick up any debris or Xenothreat still in the area. If you do find a wreck, be sure to grab any supply crates that is still in one piece.
So some of the boys are already there looting the ships, and we are going to pull in and collect some cargo. This area of space is looking absolutely amazing. It's like the dark side of the universe. I just love all these massive asteroids. You don't really see many of these in the Stanton system, so this is pretty cool to see. It just gives you that eerie feeling. Absolutely love it. So in this area now, while the boys are getting all the cargo ready, you do get also a lot of Xeno ships coming to attack you while you're trying to load up. Luckily here, the area seems nice and quiet. So we're going to get in and load up the Corsair. So the boys have cleared this wreck site as we pull up, and they're now ready for us to reverse our ship in. So we're just taking the yellow and blue containers, so we won't be able to use our quantum drive, and we'll have to fly over in nav mode and just get there as quickly as we can. There I am in the cockpit, just waiting to go. And once I get the all clear, we'll be heading out. And there it is, we've got the all clear, we're close up, and it's time to head back towards the station. Some of the asteroid formations out here are absolutely crazy. This particular one looks like it's been completely hollowed out by some sort of man-made machine or an alien machine. And it just looks absolutely epic. You also get these amazing colours in space out here, which is pretty cool to see. I've not seen this before. So we arrive back at the gateway, and it's time to hand in the loot that we've got in the back of the ship. There are some landing pads at the back there near the Javelin, and we're going to get in and go to the terminals and hand in all the cargo.
Xeno threats charging their main gun.
The Xeno threat ship is nailing the Javelin, and it's a race against time to hand in all the cargo. So there's a few little landing pads here, and there's terminals at either end. While we're trying to organise all this, the Idris is pounding the station and the Javelin, and the explosions look epic.
Gun is activating.
Boom, look at that. That is the Idris's railgun, hammering the Javelin.
Number of hostiles remaining. Keep doing what you're doing.
You need help with
Xeno
something?
threats charging their main gun.
So here we hand in what we've got on board, and all this will help towards the mission completion.
Nice.
I'll mark down that we got a
Let you know that
shipment.
we've had our first supply drop. Locked.
You need help with
Supplies being
something?
delivered, but there's still plenty of work to do. Don't stop now. Come out.
So once we completed that stage, we handed in all the cargo, the Idris retreated, and we just had to wait for stage 2 to pop. So after a short break, we got the call to head back to the wreck site and take down the Idris. We hop aboard our Gladius. Great little fighter ship. We're going to go in there and do some dogfighting.
Aegis combat assist.
I love the Gladius. Looks like a little fighter plane. Super responsive. I don't really fly these little ships that much, but it is fun when I get in them.
Thank you, and please visit again.
Quantum travel initiated. Quantum travel.
So we head into the wreck site, and already the Idris has released some of its little ships, and it's time to take them down as quickly as possible. We won't focus the Idris at the moment. We've got hammerheads, arrows, and multiple other targets to take down before we can focus on the Idris. So here I've targeted a hammerhead in the distance. We're unloading a few missiles on him, and then we're going to go in and take him down.
Contact.
For such a small ship, the Gladius certainly does have a lot of firepower, and this hammerhead is about to take a beating.
Contact. Shields run for fire.
We don't want to get too close to that Idris, because if we do, we will get one shot. Hammerhead's rear shields are down and his hull is about to give up. Boom, there he goes. I now turn my attention to the Idris, and I'm trying to hit the back door to open up the door and maybe try and fly in the hangar. Unfortunately, he sees me pull up behind him, and within 2 seconds my ship is soft death, and there's nothing left for me to do but get out an EVA and try and get near the Idris. At this point, I think the Idris is coming slightly towards me, and I'm just trying to get as close as possible so I can get on board. Here he is at 400 meters, and I'm thinking this is my moment. But as quickly as he comes close, he starts getting far away again. As the Idris starts to pull away, I unleash my anger with my hand weapon, just in sheer frustration that I couldn't get close enough to jump on board. One of the boys, Sanctum, comes to pick me up while I'm floating around an EVA, and I'm going to jump on a turret in his Corsair. So we're now in the turret. Sanctum is an excellent pilot, and together we annihilate loads of targets. Corsair now gets soft-deathed, and we have to make a rush to get out the ship before someone blows us up. So we're back out of the ship and we're checking out the location of the Idris to see if we can get on board, but unfortunately it's just too far away. It's a few kilometers away, so we decide hold backspace and kill ourselves. We'll respawn back at the station and we'll pick another ship and get back to the fight. And here is the other ship, the Taurus. The old faithful Taurus. One of my favourite ships in the game, my pledge ship. So we head back over there. There's still multiple targets to be taken care of, and no one has made it onto the Idris yet. There's a few hammerheads still hanging around, so we focus our attention on some of them.
Shields damaged.
I've now switched my fire mode to tracking the targets much better. I don't normally use this mode because it's so sensitive, but I thought I'd better give it a try, and I finally managed to get to grips with it. Boom, hammerhead down. And we are unleashing our fury. Now we focus on the second hammerhead. And once this one's down, we can start to think about boarding the Idris.
Shields damaged.
So the hammerhead goes down, but there are still quite a few little fighter ships, so we just help out the rest of the team, take down a few little fighters.
Radar contact. Enemy down. Radar contact. Radar contact. Enemy down. Target acquired.
Finally, all the little fighter ships are gone, and we are going to try and board the Idris. So Sanctum's going to get me in close, I'm going to get ready for the jump, and hopefully this is our moment. We've been waiting for this moment for a long time to board a ship in Star Citizen, try and get on board and take down the captain. So at this moment my heart was in my mouth. And this is it. Sanctum puts his foot down, the Idris is straight ahead of us, and I am ready to jump. And this is my chance. The Idris isn't moving. I think a few other players are now getting on board, so we're going to join in the fight to clear the Idris. I should have bought a bigger tractor beam, but I was stuck with this little handheld one. I tried to get close enough and figure out which way I was going to enter the ship, and eventually decided, instead of looking around for ages, I will head straight to the docking port, which I flew straight past. Luckily it was open. And we jump on board with the rest of the players doing the Xeno threat mission. They are highlighted in green here, and luckily no other players as yet were shooting at us. So we proceed to clear the ship.
We can't let him get away.
There were still quite a lot of NPCs on the ship, so we just had to go around and systematically clear each room. Unfortunately, they were a bit laggy and they didn't really do a lot. But there was still a lot of targets to take down, and managing your ammo and just making sure you don't miss one, because eventually they will start to shoot at you. And when it's your first time on board this ship, you are super nervous. So I am on edge at the moment, high alert. Any target needs to be carefully considered. So we started clearing at the bottom of the ship, and every time we found a staircase going up, we carried on going up to hopefully find our way to the bridge. It's not easy to find your way around this ship, especially your first time here.
Oh, are you? Wait, what? Am I in the reactor?
Wherever they are, we won't get away long.
The interior looks absolutely awesome. Here there's a player begging for his life.
Can you do a solid and med gun me, please? I don't want to be thrown around like this. This is not dignified.
He's asking to be rezzed, but unfortunately I can't see him, so I have a quick scan round, but he ain't near me. So here we head into the main hangar, which is absolutely huge. I've never seen anything like it inside a ship on Star Citizen. It's just vast, and it feels like you could fit a couple of C2s in here, it's that big. It actually feels bigger than most of the hangars on the space stations. So there are mobs hiding around every corner, and you just got to be super careful. If you give them long enough, they will shoot you. So here I had a few issues with my gun. It said I had 140 ammo, and those ammo were obviously in my backpack because it was taking quite a while to reload. But then when I was reloading, it wasn't actually loading any bullets into my gun. I should have just taken him down, but I was getting quite frustrated with the gun, so I quickly went to look for some ammo. The new looting system definitely made a difference here. It was much quicker to loot the mobs and get the ammo you needed. So all that was left to do now was head up to the bridge and try and take control of the ship. The Xeno threat outfits look proper cool. I like the logo they got on the chest, and the red and black really looks good. So we found some more stairs here and we kept heading up. And here we came into the little gym area. And there was a player, so we had to be a little bit careful. We did not engage that player, but he did engage us. And without me firing a shot, he decided to take me down. So I think he came over, checked out what gear I had, maybe looted me, I don't know. Unfortunately I was dead, so I couldn't see what was going on. But after a short time, here came our friend Sanctum to revive us, and we could carry on with the mission. I've now got 2 level 3 injuries, but that's not enough to hold us back, so we crack on. We are now totally on edge because we've realised that other players are shooting on sight. So going forward, we were just going to make sure we were extra careful.
We need to find them now.
Just as we were about to try and head up again, Sanctum gives me a shout, and he's been taken down by the same player that just took me down a minute ago. So this time, this guy was going to get punished. I did unload a whole magazine into his face, and he still didn't die. So Sanctum was calling to get a res down below, but for some reason, this guy just would not die. It looked like he went flying down there and I'd killed him after another magazine in the face, but 2 seconds later he's back up.
Gang slipped me. We can't let him get
Couldn't
away.
understand how many bullets this guy could take. And soon enough I ran out of ammo once again. Even though it said I had 140 in my backpack, it would not let me fire those bullets. It would not reload them properly, and I had no ammo in my gun whatsoever. So it was time to grab another gun so we could try and rescue Sanctum.
Gone? So we better search high and low to find them.
We need to find them now.
So the guy seemed to be still down there. Just couldn't believe how many bullets this guy was taking.
Over here, look.
Can't find any trace of them.
And I thought it might just be lagging out and that I had killed him, because he was just taking pure bullets, but then he started firing at us, which made me think he was definitely still alive. Eventually things did go a little bit quiet, so I made my move and went down the ladder. It's a good job he wasn't still down there, because it took me about 20 seconds to get down the ladder, in which time he would have just shot me in the back. But when I get down there was his body. We could see Sanctum was 1.4 meters away, but unfortunately he'd sunk through the floor and I couldn't res him, so he had to travel back while I carried on up to the bridge. This had all been cleared by other players. And this was a moment I'd been waiting for such a long time, heading onto a capital ship to a bridge that had been taken by us, the players. And here was the rest of our team. These are some of our org mates who were also on the ship at the same time. And the mission was complete. The pilot had been taken down, and we had control of the Idris. It looked absolutely epic. I was dying to get in and get some screenshots of this thing from inside the ship. But sure enough, within a few minutes we started taking fire, and we decided to get the Idris out of there. It's a very big and slow ship, and the quantum jumps did take an awfully long time. It took about 20 minutes just to get to Crusader in quantum. In which time a lot of the boys would log off as the mission was completed, and there would just be a few of us left on the ship. I hopped in the co-pilot seat and just enjoyed the view from the Idris and took a few screenshots. Finally, it was time for me to jump into the one seat I'd been looking forward to getting into, which was the pilot's seat, and I took control of the Idris, and there was me and just one other org mate on board. So as soon as we arrive at Crusader, there's a guy in his Hornet, I believe, and he thought he could take us on and decided to start shooting at us. We were just trying to figure out how to put the guns back on, and once we did, this guy did not last long.
Shields under fire.
So the guns were now tracking him, and they soon started firing at him, and within about 2 seconds his ship was toast. I don't know what that guy was thinking, but taking on a capital ship in that tiny little fighter ship is not a good idea. There you can see the huge railgun on the Idris. I didn't know that we could fire that at the time, but after watching other people's videos on YouTube I now know that you can. So that will be one of my next missions, to try and get on board and use the railgun. Cruising around Crusader, we were looking for somewhere we could go and get a local inventory, because we wanted to take some of the gear sets off the Xeno threat mobs, just because they look so cool. So we decided to try and go to Grim Hex, pull up nearby, and loot as many of the mobs as we could. After some time we were finally coming in on Grim Hex, and we didn't know if the station would shoot us or not, so we just thought we'd give it a go. As we were heading into Grim Hex, people had obviously noticed this massive capital ship heading in, and we got the attention of a few players. One guy in his Taurus was doing some crazy maneuvers trying to get close to the ship. We didn't quite know what he was trying to do. As we approached Grim Hex, they released a shed load of missiles, and we realised we weren't going to be so welcome at Grim Hex. It's time to put our foot down and try and get out of it. The ship took some heavy hits from the station guns, but they didn't really do much to the ship. The shields held, and we cruised past the station and headed on our way. We were now thinking of another place where we could go maybe to get the local inventory, because we really wanted to get some of these Xeno threat outfits. This guy and his Taurus was still hanging around, and I think he was calling some of his augmates and giving them our location. He then tried to land on top of the Idris, and I think he was trying to do the glitch where you glitch through the ship with your ship and you end up on board the Idris. But we didn't know this at the time, so we just carried on cruising while he was doing some weird stuff on the top of us. And as he started to try and land on the ship, we bounced him off and decided to get out of there. So we set a quantum drive for Crusader, and we headed to Daymar. We were going to go and land at a mining outpost, and hopefully we would be able to store the loot at the local inventory. Once we were down, we started looting some of the guys and transferring the gear to our local storage. There was dead guards everywhere. Loads of outfits we could take, so we started transferring them all to our local inventory, and it was a race to get this done before other players realised we were here and tried to board the Idris. So after about 10 to 15 minutes we managed to get a good few outfits each, and we thought about taking off, but as we did, a cutlass had landed right on the front of the ship. And we had hostiles running around on top of the ship trying to get on board. So this guy had obviously been told by his friend in the Taurus, who was still with us. He was also trying to get out of his ship to board the Idris, so we decided we'd take off straight away and try and get out of here. As we did that, we soon learned what the glitch was, and the cutlass suddenly appeared in the cockpit of the Idris and knocked me out, and I landed in the cutlass. I then tried to see if I could jump back into the Idris, but unfortunately that did not work, and I ended up floating down to the planet to my death. Once I'd respawned, we still had one of our guys on the Idris, so I quickly headed back in a Warden, and I wanted to get back on board.
Quantum travel initiated. Quantum travel complete.
So I shot over as quick as I could to Daymar. With hostiles now on the Idris, Slippery Cactus, my mate, needed help, so I tried to get back ASAP.
Quantum travel initiated. Quantum travel complete.
As I got back to Daymar, I could see that Slippery Cactus had got the ship up and above the planet, and he was heading out into space. Unfortunately, he did have these two guys on board that had tried to board the ship while we landed, and as he was flying up out into space, he got capped in the pilot seat, and they'd managed to take control of the Idris and take it from us. Unfortunately for them, even though Slippery Cactus had been shot in the pilot seat, he was incapacitated, and weirdly enough, when you get incapacitated in the pilot seat, you still have control of the ship until you are actually dead. And because hostiles had tried to take the ship from us, he decided there was only one thing we could do to make sure that if we can't have the ship, nobody else is getting the ship. They could have just asked us to get on board, but they didn't. They came in a very hostile way, and so we ended it in a very hostile way. And before Slippery Cactus had been properly killed, he put the ship into full throttle and pointed it at Daymar. So there it was, he flew it straight into the floor at full speed, and we couldn't believe it. We thought the ship had sustained no damage whatsoever. So I just waited around and I was like, right, I'll wait for Slippery Cactus and then we'll try and get back on board. But obviously there was some sort of delay and the game hadn't quite registered what had happened. But after about 30-40 seconds, flying the ship straight into the floor, there was only really one outcome. Boom. And there it went. That was the end of our Idris journey. We'd had a great time taking it. We'd had a great time flying it. We didn't realise that people could glitch themselves onto the ship. But once they'd done that and taken hostile action against us, we took action that would stop them from getting the ship. And that's how it goes, guys. You take hostile action, you get hostile action. So we left the Idris there in a broken state on Daymar, and it was time for me to get out of here. It was an epic experience, the best mission by far that I've ever done on Star Citizen. This kind of event is just absolutely awesome, and I hope these missions are commonplace when the game is fully released. But for now, with a broken Idris, it was time for us to go. So I hope to see more of these as we get closer to release, and I hope to see them get more stable, and it will become a lot more enjoyable. It was still absolutely amazing, but it could be absolutely mind-blowing. If it ran perfectly smooth, it would just be one of the most amazing experiences on any computer game I've ever had. And so we look forward to that in the future. But thank you for watching. Please like, please subscribe. And until next time, take it easy.